Welcome, dear traveler, to this quiet moment of rest. The day is behind you now, and all that remains is calm. So close your eyes and imagine yourself floating gently upward, leaving behind the weight of the world until you are drifting in the vastness of space, where stars glow softly like lanterns in the night. Here there is no hurry, no worry, only stillness and peace. And as you listen, each word will carry you deeper into comfort, like a cloud cradling you towards sleep, safe, welcome, and at ease among the endless sky. We begin not with planets or stars, but with something far more mysterious: black holes. These are among the most fascinating features of the universe, and perhaps the most mind-bending. A black hole is a place where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. Imagine a star, many times larger than our sun, running out of fuel. When it collapses under its own weight, it can squeeze all its mass into an unimaginably small point, creating a black hole. Here is a fun thought. If Earth were compressed into a black hole, it would be smaller than a marble, yet still weigh the same. You would never fit it in your pocket, of course, because anything that close would be pulled into its gravity. Black holes are so strange that even Einstein's theories struggled to explain them fully. But do not be afraid of them. For all their reputation, black holes are far away, and most of them simply sit quietly in the centers of galaxies. In fact, our very own Milky Way has one at its heart: Sagittarius A. It is a giant, calm black hole, patiently holding our galaxy together with its gravitational pull. Speaking of the Milky Way, let us drift outward to see it in full. Imagine yourself floating far away, beyond the stars we see at night. The Milky Way would appear as a graceful spiral, its arms curling around like a cosmic pinwheel. It is home to around 100 to 400 billion stars, and each of those stars could host planets of their own. In fact, astronomers now believe that almost every star in the sky has at least one planet circling it. That means billions of possible worlds, each with its own story. Here's a soothing fact. If you stepped outside on a clear night and counted every star you could see with your naked eye, you would reach about 6,000. But the galaxy itself has hundreds of billions, waiting just beyond what our eyes can detect. It is like living in a forest, able to see only a handful of trees, while knowing that an endless woodland surrounds you. Now, let us drift closer, as though we are visiting our celestial neighbors one by one, gently pausing at each world before moving on, carried by starlight and silence. The first planet we approach is Mercury, the innermost wanderer of the sun. Its surface is quiet and grey, covered in craters from long ago, as though time itself has slowed here. Imagine yourself touching down lightly, your feet resting on solid ground that has not changed for billions of years. The sun hangs enormous in the sky, brighter and closer than you have ever seen it. And though Mercury in waking life is blazing hot in the day and frozen cold at night, here in your dream it is simply warm, a gentle glow that touches your skin like morning sunlight through half-closed curtains. You breathe in, you breathe out, and the silence here is complete, wrapping you like a soft blanket. You linger for a moment, feeling how still and unchanging this place is. And then, when you are ready, you lift away again, floating back into the black velvet of space. Ahead lies Venus, the brightest star-like lantern in our sky. As you drift closer, you see her golden clouds swirling in endless patterns. Her thick atmosphere hides her rocky surface, but here in this dream, you do not need to worry about heat or pressure. You hover gently above the clouds, and they stretch around you like an ocean of gold and cream, glowing softly in the light of the sun. Imagine resting on a cloud deck, suspended in midair, the atmosphere glowing all around, the horizon curving like a soft embrace. Venus feels mysterious, veiled, a secret hidden behind curtains of light. You breathe deeply, imagining the air filled with warmth, and then, as softly as a sigh, you drift onward once again. Now, Earth appears, our home, a blue and green jewel turning slowly in the dark. From space it looks alive, shimmering with oceans and forests and white clouds swirling in graceful spirals. Imagine gazing down at the lands and seas, the mountains and rivers, the cities glowing faintly like scattered embers. This is where you began, where life is nurtured and held with care. As you float above Earth, you feel a deep comfort, like returning to the embrace of someone who has always known you. You watch the sunrises and sunsets tracing around the globe, golden light spilling across continents, and you remember that this is your home, the cradle of life, forever turning beneath you. Drifting farther, you approach Mars, glowing with a rusty hue. Its deserts stretch wide and silent, red and gold and brown, and in the thin air the sky is tinged with a faint pink, as though the whole world is caught in a gentle sunrise. Imagine standing at the edge of a canyon so vast it would stretch from one side of your horizon to the other. The rocks are ancient, the dust soft beneath your feet, and the silence feels endless. You look upward and see two small moons, Phobos and Deimos, drifting slowly through the sky like lanterns. You feel a sense of longing here, a whisper of stories still waiting to be told, of rivers that once flowed, of futures that may one day unfold. Mars feels like a cousin of Earth, close and familiar, but quiet, patient, waiting. You take a slow breath in and let it out, carrying the calm of this red world with you as you drift onward. Now you arrive at Jupiter, the great giant of the solar system. Its size fills your view, striped with endless clouds swirling in whites, creams, and soft oranges. The great red spot turns slowly, a storm larger than the Earth. Yet from here it feels less like chaos and more like a spiral of calm energy, always moving, never ending. Around Jupiter, dozens of moons circle, each one a world in its own right. You float among them, perhaps pausing at Europa, its icy surface etched with lines that hint at the vast ocean hidden below. Imagine gliding across that frozen plain, the stars reflected on the ice, and beneath you, an entire ocean slumbering in the dark. Jupiter's presence is protective, massive, a guardian watching over its family of moons. You feel small here, but not in a fearful way. Small in the way a child feels held in the arms of someone strong. You breathe slowly and deeply, feeling Jupiter's calm weight around you. Then Saturn comes into view, perhaps the most graceful of all. Its rings stretch wide and shining, bands of ice and stone circling like ribbons of light. Imagine floating just above the rings, their countless pieces sparkling like diamonds scattered across velvet. The planet itself glows in shades of gold and cream, its surface patterned with soft bands, and around it more moons drift, each one unique, some shrouded in haze, some icy, some rocky. You pause near Titan, Saturn's largest moon, where thick clouds hide lakes of liquid methane, shimmering faintly in the twilight. In this dreamlike journey, you do not feel cold or strange here, only curious, only calm, watching rivers and lakes that are not made of water, yet flow as gently as any stream on Earth. The sight is surreal and beautiful, and you carry the wonder of it with you as you drift away. Farther still, Uranus appears, tilted on its side, rolling through space like a slow wheel. Its color is a soft blue-green, calm and gentle, like ocean water under pale light. Around it, faint rings circle, and its moons drift quietly, pale and small. The planet feels serene, cool, restful, as though it is sleeping as you pass. You float in its glow for a moment, breathing deeply, before continuing your journey. And then Neptune, deep blue, mysterious, with faint white clouds sweeping across its surface. Winds circle here faster than any on Earth, but from afar they are smooth, silent, graceful. Imagine resting just above those clouds, looking down at the endless ocean of blue stretching below. Neptune feels like a dream within a dream, distant and quiet, reminding you how vast and gentle the universe can be. Beyond Neptune, you drift past Pluto and the icy worlds of the Kuiper Belt. They are small, faint, shimmering like forgotten treasures, each one a frozen jewel at the edge of sunlight. Pluto itself appears with its companion, Charon, the two locked together in a slow, eternal dance. Imagine floating above them, the sun a pale star in the distance, and yet the silence here feels comforting, like being wrapped in a blanket of night. You pause in this place, far from the warmth of the sun, where everything is quiet, where nothing presses upon you. You breathe in, slowly, deeply, and exhale, feeling the weight of your body soften, feeling your mind ease into stillness. You have touched each world, felt their silence, carried their calm within you, and now you drift gently back, not rushed, not hurried, only floating, only resting, only dreaming. The planets remain behind, circling in their endless paths, and you carry their peace with you into sleep. Now, let us float a little closer to home, the solar system. Imagine standing near the sun. Of course, we cannot really stand on it. It is made of hot plasma, not solid ground. But picture yourself gazing at its golden surface. It is a ball of nuclear fire, about 93 million miles from Earth. Every second, the sun releases more energy than humanity has used in all of history. And yet, we only receive a tiny fraction of its warmth, just enough to nurture life on our planet. Here is a fun fact to ease your mind. It takes about 8 minutes and 20 seconds for light from the sun to reach Earth. So when you look at sunlight on your window or the glint of the morning sky, you are seeing light that began its journey minutes ago, racing through space. Now, let us journey outward to the planets, one by one. First comes Mercury, the closest to the sun. It is small, rocky, and scarred with craters, almost like our moon. A year on Mercury is just 88 days long. Before you knew it, birthdays would come again and again. Next is Venus, often called Earth's twin because of its similar size. But Venus is no place for an afternoon picnic. Its atmosphere is thick with carbon dioxide, and its surface is hot enough to melt lead. Yet, Venus shines brighter than almost any star in the sky, a golden lantern visible even in twilight. Then there is our home, Earth. From space, Earth glows with blues, greens, and whites, oceans, forests, and clouds. It is the only planet we know, so far, that cradles life. A fun reminder, astronauts often describe Earth as fragile when they see it from orbit, a delicate jewel floating in black space. Next, we come to Mars, the red planet. Its deserts and mountains call to us like a distant home we have yet to reach. Olympus Mons, A volcano on Mars is the tallest mountain in the solar system, nearly 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Imagine standing at its base, gazing up into thin Martian skies, the horizon curving in quiet rust tones. Then, the giants, Jupiter and Saturn. Jupiter is so huge it could swallow all the other planets combined. Its storms are vast, centuries-long tempests swirling across its surface. The Great Red Spot, for example, is a storm larger than Earth itself. Saturn, meanwhile, wears its famous rings, made of ice and rock. If you were close enough, the rings would stretch across the sky like shimmering ribbons. Farther still, we drift past Uranus and Neptune, the ice giants. Uranus spins on its side, as though some cosmic hand once tipped it over. Neptune, deep blue and stormy, has winds faster than any hurricane on Earth. Out here, the sun is just a pale dot, a lantern in the dark. But the solar system does not end here. Beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper Belt, a region of icy bodies and dwarf planets, including Pluto. Beyond that, the Oort cloud, a vast, mysterious shell of comets, marks the edges of the sun's influence. And beyond even that, the interstellar void, where other stars rule. Now, let us leave the solar system entirely and drift into the open galaxy. Out here, stars are born inside nebulae, vast clouds of gas and dust. Some nebulae glow with brilliant colors, like the Orion Nebula, where new stars ignite. Others are dark, hiding their secrets until starlight outlines their edges. Imagine drifting through one, the silence deep, the light soft and swirling. Here is a thought to settle into. You are made of star stuff. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you breathe. All of it was forged inside ancient stars, billions of years ago. When those stars ended their lives in explosions, they scattered their elements into space. And over time, those elements formed planets, oceans, forests, and eventually, you. Another calming fact, the universe itself is still expanding. Galaxies drift farther apart as space stretches. If you imagine the universe as a loaf of bread rising in the oven, galaxies are like raisins embedded in the dough. They are not flying away through space, but carried along as space itself grows. Now, let us gently return to the topic of black holes, circling back like a story that loops around. Scientists believe that black holes may not just consume, but also help shape galaxies. They are cosmic engines, guiding the dance of stars around them. Some even imagine that black holes might connect to other parts of the universe, like tunnels through space and time. These are only ideas, of course, but dreaming about them helps us remember how much mystery remains. Before we settle in for rest, let us look at one last wonder, the cosmic background light. If you could tune your eyes to microwaves, you would see a faint glow all around you. This light is the afterglow of the Big Bang, the birth of the universe itself. It has been traveling for nearly 14 billion years, whispering the story of beginnings. Now that we have drifted past the giants of our solar system and seen the icy worlds on its edge, let us pause for a moment on a question that has captured human imagination for centuries. Could we live somewhere else? Our home, Earth, is a rare jewel. It has liquid water, a breathable atmosphere, a magnetic field to shield us from cosmic radiation, and just the right balance of warmth and sunlight. Yet, we often wonder, if something were to happen here, could there be another place among the stars for us? The first candidate that comes to mind is Mars. Mars is cold, dry, and dusty, but it is also the most Earth-like planet we know. It has seasons, polar ice caps, and days that are just a little longer than ours, about 24 hours and 39 minutes. Imagine living there. The sunrises would be softer, the skies tinted pinkish orange, and the horizon marked by vast deserts and towering volcanoes. Mars has water ice beneath its surface, and scientists believe that, with the right technology, it could be melted to provide water for future explorers. Its thin atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide, but with human ingenuity, some dream of one day terraforming Mars, slowly warming it, thickening its air, and coaxing it into a more hospitable world. But Mars is only the beginning of this story. Beyond our solar system, astronomers have discovered thousands of exoplanets, planets orbiting distant stars. Some of these worlds sit in what is called the habitable zone, sometimes nicknamed the Goldilocks zone. This is the region around a star where temperatures might allow liquid water to exist. Not too hot, not too cold, just right. One of the most exciting finds is the TRAPPIST-1 system, about 40 light-years away. This system has 7 Earth-sized planets, 3 of which are in the habitable zone. Picture standing on one of them, looking up at a sky where the parent star appears larger than our Sun does from Earth. Nearby, you would see other planets hanging in the sky, closer than our Moon, glowing softly. It would be a celestial neighborhood, a place where stepping outside might reveal several worlds at once. Another fascinating candidate is Kepler 452b, sometimes called Earth's cousin. It orbits a star similar to our Sun, in almost the same kind of zone that Earth occupies. Scientists do not yet know if it has water or life, but simply knowing it exists stretches our imagination outward. There is also Proxima Centauri b, orbiting the closest star to our solar system. Just over 4 light-years away, it is the nearest potentially habitable planet we know of. 4 light-years is still unimaginably far, tens of thousands of years of travel with our current spacecraft. But compared to the endless galaxy, it is practically next door. Here is a calming thought. Even if we never reach these places in our lifetimes, simply knowing they are there connects us to something bigger. The universe is not barren. It is sprinkled with possibilities. Each planet we discover whispers a reminder that Earth is not alone, that life may have countless chances to bloom. Imagine drifting above one of these exoplanets, hovering in its skies. Perhaps you see oceans sparkling in starlight, or forests that stretch farther than the eye can see. Perhaps the air is calm and breathable, and the horizon is framed by twin suns. It is a dream, yes, but a dream supported by science, mathematics, and telescopes that peer into the darkness and find glimmers of hope. And yet, perhaps the most comforting thought of all is this. While we search for other homes, we are reminded of the miracle of our own. Earth is already in the perfect place, already abundant with air and water and life. Protecting it, cherishing it, may be the greatest journey of all. So, as you rest, let your thoughts wander to these faraway worlds: Mars, TRAPPIST-1, Kepler 452b, Proxima b. They are lanterns glowing in the dark, reminders that the universe is full of potential. You are safe. You are part of this great story, and in your dreams tonight, you may walk on alien sands, gaze at alien skies, and feel at home among the stars. And so, as you drift further into calm, imagine yourself lying on a cosmic river, stars drifting past like lanterns on water. You are safe, you are timeless, and the universe holds you gently in its arms. Our story continues now, not in space itself, but on the Earth, thousands of years ago. Imagine an early human lying on the ground, looking up at the night sky. There were no cities then, no streetlights or tall buildings. The heavens stretched from horizon to horizon, unbroken and dazzling. The Milky Way arched overhead like a river of light. Stars were so bright that they cast shadows on the ground. To our ancestors, the sky was alive, mysterious, powerful, and filled with meaning. For early people, the stars were not simply points of light. They were guides for travel, keepers of time, and markers of seasons. Farmers noticed that the rising of certain constellations meant planting time was near. Sailors steered their ships by the North Star. Communities built stories into the stars, hunters and heroes, animals and gods. These myths were more than entertainment. They were ways to understand the cosmos, to weave human life into the pattern of the heavens. Over time, curiosity deepened. People began to wonder not only what the stars were, but how they moved. The ancient Babylonians carefully recorded the motions of the sun, moon, and planets. They noticed that the planets, those wandering stars, moved differently from the rest. The Greeks later studied the skies with equal fascination. They believed the Earth was at the center of everything, with the sun, moon, and stars circling around it. This idea, called the geocentric model, dominated human thought for centuries. Imagine now that you are floating farther outward, beyond the familiar neighborhood of the solar system, into the vastness where the stars themselves begin to cluster and form patterns of light. The Milky Way surrounds you like a glowing river, stretching from horizon to horizon in every direction, a spiral of countless suns that together weave a pattern more graceful than anything the human hand could ever create. From where you drift, the galaxy is not just a collection of stars, but a living, breathing tapestry, curling arms of starlight and dust stretching outward in spirals, each one containing billions of worlds. You are suspended above it, as though resting on a quiet breeze, gazing at this cosmic pinwheel slowly turning through eternity. The light you see here is ancient, some of it having traveled tens of thousands of years just to meet your eyes. Yet it arrives now, gentle and steady, a reminder of how patient the universe can be. Within the Milky Way are great clouds of gas and dust, known as nebulae, nurseries where new stars are born. Imagine yourself drifting closer to one, perhaps the Orion Nebula, its colors blossoming like watercolor strokes of violet and rose, emerald and blue. The light glows softly, filling the space around you as though you are moving through a vast, illuminated cathedral. Within these glowing clouds, gravity pulls dust and gas together, shaping new suns that will shine for billions of years. If you close your eyes, you can almost feel the warmth of those infant stars beginning to awaken, sending their first light into the cosmos. The silence here is complete, yet you may imagine a soft hum, like the sound of a lullaby carried across eternity, the song of stars being born. As you float deeper into the galaxy, you pass clusters of stars bound together by gravity, some small and compact, others vast and sprawling. One such cluster, the Pleiades, gleams with blue-white light. The stars so young, they still shine with the brilliance of new beginnings. Imagine yourself gliding gently among them, each star a lantern glowing in sapphire hues, their light spilling like a calm ocean across the black. You feel their presence not as heat or brightness, but as serenity, each star holding a timeless stillness that settles in your chest like a slow, deep breath. These stars are sisters, born from the same cloud, forever connected in the dance, and drifting among them, you too feel connected. Part of their family, part of the cosmic whole. Beyond the open arms of our galaxy lies the great expanse where galaxies gather in clusters of their own, each one a city of stars. Imagine now that you rise higher, so high you can see not just the Milky Way, but countless galaxies surrounding it, scattered like petals in a cosmic garden. Spirals, ellipticals, and irregular forms drift together, each one containing billions upon billions of suns. They glow softly, distant yet luminous, pearls strung across the darkness. Between them, great stretches of space lie quiet and vast, and within that stillness, you find peace. As you gaze upon these galaxies, you feel the immensity of it all. But rather than overwhelming, it is calming, a reminder that you are part of something endless. And in that endlessness, there is comfort. Closer once more, let us linger near a single star. Imagine hovering near a golden sun, not our own, but one among billions, its light pouring outward in every direction. You do not feel heat or danger here. Instead, the light wraps around you like a soft glow, warming but not burning, calming but not harsh. Around this star may circle planets, worlds unknown, some rocky and small, others vast and gaseous, some perhaps with oceans, others with frozen plains. You drift above them, each one a mystery, each one a possibility, yet none demanding anything of you. They simply are, turning silently, waiting, and you simply float by, breathing slowly, deeply, at peace with the infinite variety of creation. Consider for a moment the life of a star. Stars are born in nebulae, live for millions or billions of years, and eventually fade, some gently, some in brilliant supernovae that scatter their elements across the galaxy. Imagine watching one such star at the end of its life, swelling into a red giant, its glow rich and warm like a candle's flame. As it expands, it sheds its outer layers into space, creating a shell of color that blooms outward like petals, forming what we call a planetary nebula. You drift within this bloom, surrounded by delicate filaments of light, reds and greens and blues suspended in darkness, shimmering like silk in a soft breeze. There is no sound, no rush, only the patient unfolding of beauty, the gentle release of energy back into the universe. The star at the center becomes a white dwarf, a quiet ember that will glow for billions of years, like the last coal of a fire, fading slowly, peacefully. Even the most powerful events in the cosmos, black holes and supernovae, are not frightening here. Imagine a black hole not as a maw of darkness, but as a still pond, perfectly calm, its surface invisible, its pull silent and serene. Around it, stars and dust may swirl, glowing faintly as they circle the unseen center, but within, there is only stillness. In this dream, you are not pulled or harmed. You simply observe, floating nearby, sensing the quiet power that rests at the heart of galaxies. It is a reminder that even in the greatest mysteries, there is calm, and in calm, there is rest. Now, imagine drifting farther still, beyond the galaxy clusters, into the truly deep universe, where light from the most distant galaxies is faint, stretched into soft red hues by the expansion of space itself. You are surrounded by a darkness so complete that it becomes comforting, like the deep rest of sleep itself. The stars here are far, their light ancient, yet you feel held within this darkness, not lost, not alone. It is the silence before thought, the pause before dreams, the quiet that carries you inward and outward at once. And yet, even here, there is light, the cosmic microwave background, a faint glow that fills all of space, the afterglow of the Big Bang. Imagine that you can see it now, a soft, endless shimmer all around you, as though you are wrapped in a cocoon of light that has traveled for nearly 14 billion years. This glow is gentle, not sharp or bright, but like the faintest candlelight flickering on the edge of perception. It is the oldest light in existence, the memory of beginnings, and it holds you in its embrace like a lullaby sung from the birth of time. As you drift, let your mind wander across the shapes of constellations. Imagine the hunter Orion striding across the sky, his belt of stars glinting like jewels on a robe. Imagine Cygnus the swan, wings outstretched, flying forever through the heavens. Imagine Cassiopeia's throne, shaped like a W, resting high above. These stories are human creations, yet they connect us to the sky, a reminder that we have always looked upward, always wondered, always dreamed. As you picture them, the constellations dissolve, their stars flowing back into the galaxy, and once more you are surrounded not by patterns, but by an endless sea of light. You pass slowly by globular clusters, spheres of stars packed tightly together, glowing like golden beehives suspended in space. Imagine drifting near one, the light of hundreds of thousands of suns surrounding you, yet each one far enough away to leave you floating in peace. The glow here is steady, warm, and timeless, a harmony of light that lulls you deeper into calm. Closer again, imagine passing comets, their icy cores glowing softly as they release tails of gas and dust. You drift alongside one, watching its tail stretch for millions of miles, a pale ribbon unfurling behind it, glimmering faintly in the starlight. It is a traveler, wandering the solar system, and for a time you travel with it, sharing its quiet journey, feeling the slow rhythm of its orbit as it turns around the sun and returns to the outer dark. Think now of time itself, how stars are born and die, how galaxies form and drift, how the universe expands. Time and space is vast, far beyond human measure. And yet here, in this dreamlike state, you feel no rush, no urgency. You are not bound by hours or minutes, but are carried on the same currents that move galaxies and stars. You are timeless, patient, eternal. Each breath you take feels like a galaxy turning, each heartbeat like a star igniting, slow and steady, unhurried, and at peace. Imagine now that you are resting on a river of starlight, stars drifting past like lanterns floating on water. You lie back, supported by the gentle glow, the river carrying you slowly onward, past planets and stars, past nebulae and galaxies, past all thought and memory. The current is soft, the water silent, and you are held, safe and untroubled. The universe, vast and endless, cradles you in its arms, and you drift deeper into stillness, deeper into calm, deeper into sleep. Here, in this cosmic dream, there is nothing to reach, nothing to do, nothing to fear. You are simply floating, simply resting, simply being. The stars will shine, the galaxies will turn, the universe will expand, and you are part of it all, a note in the great harmony, a light in the great ocean. Rest now, dear traveler, for the cosmos holds you gently, and in its embrace you are free. Now we move on to the birth of astronomy. In the 1500s, a Polish astronomer named Nicholas Copernicus proposed something daring, that the Earth was not the center of the universe. Instead, he suggested the sun was at the center, and the planets, including Earth, moved around it. This was the heliocentric model. At first, few believed him. The idea seemed impossible, even dangerous. but it planted a seed. Soon after, Italian astronomer Galileo Galilei built a telescope, one of the first of its kind, and turned it toward the heavens. What he saw astonished him. The moon was not smooth, but covered with craters and mountains. Jupiter had moons of its own, circling around it like tiny planets. Venus changed phases, just like the moon, proving that it orbited the sun. Galileo's discoveries gave weight to Copernicus's theory. The universe, it seemed, was far stranger and larger than people had ever imagined. In the 1600s, Johannes Kepler studied the motions of planets and found that they did not move in perfect circles, but in ellipses, stretched out ovals. His laws of planetary motion described the elegant dance of worlds around the sun. And then came Isaac Newton, who revealed the force behind it all: gravity. With his laws of motion and gravity, Newton showed that the same force pulling an apple to the ground also kept the moon circling Earth and Earth circling the sun. The heavens were not a separate mystical place. They followed the same laws of nature that governed our world. The age of telescopes and discovery. Centuries passed, and telescopes grew stronger. Astronomers mapped the stars and discovered new planets. Uranus in 1781, Neptune in 1846, and Pluto in 1930. They observed distant galaxies and realized that the Milky Way was only one of countless others. In the 20th century, astronomer Edwin Hubble discovered that galaxies were moving away from us and that the universe itself was expanding. This gave rise to the idea of the Big Bang, the moment when everything began. Meanwhile, technology on Earth was advancing. Rockets, once little more than fireworks, became powerful machines capable of carrying objects into the sky. Humanity stood at the edge of a new frontier. The dawn of space exploration. The mid-20th century marked the start of the space age. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite. It was no bigger than a beach ball, but its beeping signal sent waves of excitement and fear across the globe. For the first time, humankind had placed an object in orbit around Earth. Just 4 years later, in 1961, Yuri Gagarin, a Soviet cosmonaut, became the first human to travel into space. His spacecraft, Vostok 1, circled Earth once before returning. Gagarin's famous words, "I see Earth, it is so beautiful," captured the wonder of the moment. Not to be outdone, the United States launched its own space missions. In 1969, the world watched as Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin stepped onto the surface of the moon during Apollo 11. Armstrong's words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind," still echo as one of humanity's greatest achievements. For a brief moment, people from every nation looked up at the moon, knowing that humans were standing there, living in space. The moon landings were only the beginning. Scientists wanted to know, could humans live and work in space for longer periods? Space stations were built to test this. The Soviet Union launched the Salyut stations and later Mir, where cosmonauts lived for months at a time. The United States and its partners built Skylab, and eventually, nations came together to create the International Space Station, ISS, orbiting Earth every 90 minutes. The ISS is a home in the heavens where astronauts conduct experiments, grow plants, and learn how the human body adapts to weightlessness. Life aboard the ISS is both extraordinary and ordinary. Astronauts float instead of walk, their food comes in pouches, and they must exercise daily to keep their muscles strong. Yet they also watch sunrises and sunsets 16 times a day and look down on Earth as a glowing jewel against the black of space. Many astronauts say this view changes them forever, giving them a sense of unity and fragility they had never felt before. Robots among the stars. While humans explored near-Earth space, robots ventured farther. The Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft, launched in 1977, traveled past the outer planets, sending back breathtaking images of Jupiter's swirling storms, Saturn's shimmering rings, Uranus's tilted axis, and Neptune's deep blue hues. Today, Voyager 1 has crossed into interstellar space, the farthest any human-made object has ever traveled. Its golden record, carrying sounds and images of Earth, drifts among the stars, a message in a cosmic bottle. Closer to home, robotic rovers landed on Mars. Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and most recently, Perseverance. These mechanical explorers have found evidence that Mars once had flowing rivers and lakes, suggesting it may once have been habitable. Perseverance is even preparing samples of Martian soil that may one day be returned to Earth. Other probes have flown to comets and asteroids, revealing them to be ancient time capsules from the birth of the solar system. The Rosetta mission landed on a comet, while OSIR-ISR-EX collected samples from asteroid Bennu. Each mission brings us closer to understanding our origins, the future returning to the Moon and beyond. Now we turn our gaze to the future. The Moon, once a distant goal, is calling us back. NASA's Artemis program aims to land humans on the Moon again, this time including the first woman and the first person of color. But Artemis is more than a repeat of Apollo. The goal is to build a long-term presence, a lunar base where humans can live and work. The Moon could become a stepping stone to Mars and beyond. Mars itself is the next great challenge. Space agencies and private companies, like SpaceX, dream of sending humans there within the coming decades. The journey will be long, about 6 to 9 months each way, and the challenges are immense. Astronauts will face radiation, isolation, and the need to grow food far from Earth. Yet the dream is alive. Imagine standing on Martian soil, looking up at a pale blue dot in the sky. Earth, shining from across the void. Beyond Mars, there are even grander visions. Could we one day travel to the outer planets' moons, like Europa, with its hidden ocean beneath an icy crust? Or Titan, Saturn's moon, with its lakes of methane and thick atmosphere? Some dream of starships powered by nuclear or fusion engines, carrying explorers to distant exoplanets. These ideas are still far away, but every dream begins as a spark of imagination, the endless mystery. And yet, the more we learn, the more questions we find. What lies inside a black hole? What is dark matter, the invisible substance that makes up most of the universe's mass? What is dark energy, the force that drives galaxies apart? Could there be other civilizations looking up at their skies and wondering the same things we do? Perhaps the most comforting truth is this: the universe is both vast and welcoming. We do not need to solve every mystery tonight. It is enough to know that we are part of the story, a species that looked up, wondered, and reached out. So let your mind rest on these thoughts. Picture the long journey of human curiosity, from ancient stargazers to modern astronauts. Imagine the future, where we may live among the stars. And as you drift into sleep, know that you are carried by the same starlight that has guided humans for millennia. The universe is vast. Our story is just beginning, and you are part of it.